Hey, you guys, welcome to season 3 of The Conversation. I can't believe I can't believe I'm saying that. Welcome, we're back. We have had a couple months off to rejuvenate. Me just lay in the bed and watch in the heat of the night all summer. I don't know what my co host has been up to, but that's what I've been doing. I'm really glad to see everyone. Hold on, let me take care of some business really quick. I gotta post this link, and it's posted, you guys. And privacy, and there we go. Anyways, we're back, and I'm excited to see everyone. Please like and share. You guys know that's the normal spiel I give you when we start the show. Please like and share. We are stepping our game up this season. As you can see, we have green screens, we have new sound coming, we have a new tech director that's going to be coming on board soon. So I'm really excited about all these new elements that we're adding. Someone told me you got to spend a little money to make money. So we're not quite making money yet, but we will be soon, right, guys? Right?
We spend it.
Yeah, claim
All right.
it.
So,
Right.
without
Absolutely.
further ado, you might see some faces that you don't recognize, and you might see some faces you do, and you might see some people that are no longer here anymore. Nevertheless, I'd like to introduce you to our new co-host, Melanie. Melanie came to me straight from a referral from our co-host Shaq, and her pronouns are she, her. And Melanie, would you like to just tell our viewing audience a little bit about yourself?
Well, hi, you guys. I'm Melanie. I am 30 something. I'm in Atlanta. Just for, those out there. um, I go by she, her. I'm just a multidimensional being experiencing life and everything that it has to offer. I am a licensed cosmetologist, makeup artist. I have lots of fun on TikTok. So if you're on TikTok, come find me. It's melt_tropolis. I'll put it somewhere in here for you guys. And yeah, I'm just here to be a part of a wonderful cast and just to enjoy this awesome ride. Let's get into it.
Yeah, be nice to her. Her nerves might be a little fluttering right now, but you guys,
I'm a pop in. I'm
yeah.
fluent in sarcasm. Let's go.
Okay, let's
We're
go.
happy to
Let's
have you,
do this.
Melanie.
Before we go into our hot topics, I'd like to put your attention to our little ticker at the bottom of the screen. I've never asked for cash apps or Zelle or donations. That's not what we really do over here. But like I said, this is season 3, and we're trying to step our game up a little bit. So if you'd like to be a blessing to our brand and try to help us grow, you can cash at me. It's Ash. It's $Ash the villain, or you can Zelle me at villaindisco@gmail.com. It's not a necessity. If you'd like to be a blessing, go ahead. If not, it's all good. We're still going to do whatever we do regardless. So let's get into these hot topics. We got a lot of stuff that's broke over the summer. We don't really have a lot of news that's broke today or this week. A lot of it's all old stuff that's happened in the last 2, 3, 4 weeks. So let's get to our first. Oh, actually, let's not go into that. We didn't talk about our summers, didn't we, you guys? I'm just trying to get into the business. Melanie, tell us about your summer. What'd you do?
Okay, so my summer was lit because I became an auntie again. So that's one of the big things. Yes, like y'all don't understand. That's like my little dude. So that was the highlight of my summer. I also traveled a little bit, went out with my girls. We did lots of Atlanta spots. Like if you know, you know. And there's all these like brunch spots that just popped up. Apartment 4B, breakfast at Barney's. Just some really cool spots. Just be checked it out. And I'm enjoying Atlanta, I could say. I'm officially moving back. And honestly, the first couple of times I lived here, I didn't give Atlanta a real shot. So the reality is I've just been exploring Atlanta. It's actually cool.
How long have you been back?
So officially since 2021, but even within that time, I have been traveling. Every little time I get, I am out of the state, out of the country. So it's one of those things where I really didn't give Atlanta a chance. So now I'm checking it out. It's actually cool. You know, it's high.
Well, I get down to Atlanta a couple times every other month. My grandfather lives down there, and he's
Okay.
older, so we try to get down there. So me and you and Shaq are gonna have to try to kick it when I get down there within
Definitely.
the next couple of months. I'd love to hang out and you take me
Okay.
around some of your places you like to frequent.
Absolutely.
Shaq, what about you? What's going on with your summer?
Oh man, the usual family, friends. The big one is here, unlike up north. In the heat of summer, our children actually go back to school in the south. They go back to school the beginning of August. I have You see they're so cute. I have a very happy
Aww.
first grader, very happy first grader, and then a very a 10th grader who is very unimpressed and no longer enjoys taking these photos. But she's going to take them anyway until she's 18. Uh,
She looks like I'm over it.
she's
Just
so over
thrilled. Oh,
me.
she's just bursting with excitement.
Yeah, she over me is what it is, but I don't care. I don't care.
You
So
know what? She's
yeah,
gonna appreciate these moments looking back.
and
So
that's what I
keep taking
say.
them. Keep
That's what I
taking them, Shaq.
say.
And
That's what
she's
Mhm.
I
gonna really
say.
look at it and be like, did I really make my face? Yeah, look at you now.
My
And,
grandchildren are
and
going to
Shaq,
do
I
just
know that
her.
you had some bad news in your family, and we'd like to wish our condolences to you. And
Yeah. Today was actually my grandmother's funeral earlier
Oh.
today. I
Beautiful. She's a beautiful
you know
woman.
I just want to say it's a day of celebration. She died of natural causes. My grandmother was 85 years old. She died on August 1st. Her 86th birthday would have been August 2nd. So it was a long life. It was just her time. And if I could say anything about our family, there are 9 children she had, 7 of whom lived to adulthood. There are 14 grandchildren, I being one of them. There are 58 uh, great grandchildren, and then there are 10 great grandchildren.
Y'all horny.
So yeah, grandma, her line, we could populate a city for sure. Like I am from Michigan originally. I would never date anyone from Michigan. Might be a cousin. And yeah,
But what a blessing to
yeah,
have been able to see her
True
great,
blessing.
great,
Definitely.
great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's
yeah.
a legacy
So
for real. God bless you.
Hmm.
like
yeah,
I
so
said, our prayers are definitely with you, and we are a
Condolences
family anyway,
again.
so we don't have
yeah,
to tell you if you need anything. We've already told you if you need anything, we're
yeah.
there for you.
This
But
is my
Yeah.
paternal grandmother, and yeah, awesome. So today is a celebrate. It's a celebratory day. What a wonderful connection for me to have, and I hope that it's like it was for her. I hope it's like for me when my time comes. Yeah.
Amen.
well, going from Hotlanta all the way up to Indianapolis, Brandy, how's your summer gone?
It's been wonderful, actually, magical. I got to
Yeah.
scratch two things off my bucket list.
And that is,
I had been wanting to go to Vegas,
mhm.
and so I finally was able to make that happen. Made my way to Las Vegas. And then at this big grown age, never been to a concert. That was on the bucket list. I would have seen Chris
Wow.
Okay.
Well, that's the way to go
Boy.
see a concert. You
Brown.
go
I
see
know
Chris
that's right.
Brown.
Oh,
So
you broke your cherry
yeah,
for real.
He
yeah,
said,
I've had a really nice summer. Spent a lot of time with my family, my nieces and nephews. Like you guys know, recently we had a new addition to the family. So just loving family, getting to be around each other, and I've had a great summer. Yeah, the break was great.
That's
I
good.
won't
I'm
complain.
I'm glad to hear that. Michael, from Indianapolis to Detroit. What's going on with you this summer? You didn't send many pictures in, so you must have been having a good time. You didn't have time to really take
Oh,
any
come on.
pictures.
No,
But
listen. I'm bad at taking pictures of myself. I feel like I'm at that age where people stop caring. So why take the photo, right? But Ashley said send one in. And so here we are. This is actually a shot from one of the awesome house parties that we had at the terrarium over the summer. you know, we get a little litty. We got one coming up this weekend too, so that's fun. But overall, my summer was industrious, to say the least. I made hay while the weather was good. And boy, oh boy, when there is a season of abundance, you kind of got to ride that wave, right?
Yeah.
Get it done.
Yeah.
Amen.
I told you this last night, but you guys, doesn't Michael's skin? I don't know what you're doing or what you're using.
He
but
does
your
have some
skin
great
is
skin.
looking. Your skin is skinning.
He always looks pristine.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're gonna make me blush, please. Come on now. No, listen,
Honestly,
you gotta take beef bones, right? Collagen. Take your collagen.
You guys, one thing I
Sure,
will
you're not
say is
using that
Michael
Korean
is
skincare.
Michael is so handsome till he starts talking. We love you, Michael.
Oh,
So from leaving the D, going on all the way over. Where am I going now? I'm going to down to Tampa to Marcus. Marcus, tell us about your summer, your little break. What'd you do? I heard.
I live in Fort Lauderdale, and my break was amazing. As you guys know, I love music, so I was a concert junkie this weekend. I mean, this summer, Janet Jackson, Missy Elliott, Chris Brown. I mean, I had such a great time, and you know, I love music, and it was just great being out there and connecting with the people and connecting with music. I went camping at a gay campground, which was amazing, and you know, life is about going out and doing different things. So I had a great summer.
Where was this picture at, Michael?
Nice.
Marcus, I'm sorry.
So in downtown Miami, we have a balloon museum. I actually was on Instagram and I saw this ad that's like, you know how we all see these ads and it's like, oh, come to this. And it was this awesome balloon museum. And I texted my friends, I was like, yo, this is actually here. So we went and like, it was probably one of the coolest experiences. They had different artist displays and they were all made of balloons. So it was pretty dope.
That
That's
sounds cool.
I like doing stuff like that.
and may I add, Marcus, she looks so comfortable in your photos.
Yeah.
Thank you. But I don't, what?
Anyway,
Take the compliment.
so Tasha, I didn't get any photos of you. You might have sent them, but I didn't get them. So I took some off the wall.
I love you, Michael.
So it looks like you started a little
For
garden
me,
this
yes,
summer.
I've been working on my garden. I've been working on my garden this summer, and I'm getting ready. Those are some seeds for next year, but I've been working on my garden. This summer has been interesting. My father has been in and out the hospital all summer, so been busy with that. Um, so it's really been like my garden. Thank you, and just getting ready to have a kindergartner. Which I can't believe we're already here. So yeah, just that work, all the wonderful stuff, and just doing nice.
Well, awesome. Like I
Yeah.
said, you guys, me this summer, I didn't do much. It's been a really low-key summer for me. I've been working on this podcast and working on some other projects I have coming up slowly but surely. But Sunday was my good friend Taiwan's birthday, and it was Market Days here in Chicago. It's like a big, it's the largest gay festival in the gay street festival in the country. So we had Market Days. Our friends came over. We went to that. There's me, Malik, our friend Ken, and Taiwan's on the end in the pink shirt. It was his birthday, so we had a brunch for him, and then we did. This is a picture from Pride. We did this is our at the parade. We did a big group and took some pictures. And me and Hector have been hanging out a lot this summer. He's been taking a lot more time off, so we've just been spending time with each other.
That's cute.
That's a great picture.
Thank you.
That's
And of
really
course,
good.
some Balenciaga.
Okay, then.
Put some pants on, you whore.
Legs.
So yeah, so with this little weight loss I've been losing, I've been acting kind of fast, as they say. So
Real fast.
Yeah, you
Act
should.
bad. Act
As
bad.
you
The
should.
thighs are rising.
but
The thighs are thizing. Where's the watermelon for you to crush?
See,
okay, never mind. Anyway,
I got one in my garden.
We know.
yeah, so that was my summer. Tamar, and I didn't get any photos of you, but I know you've been all over with your husband.
Oh my God. So yeah. Hi everybody. It's so good to see you. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful people. Condolences
They love
goes to
you.
Shaq. congratulations, Michael, on your birthday. I know you just celebrated birthday. It's so good to see y'all. We just got back from DragCon. I mean, we've been everywhere. It's been such a good summer. My photography business is doing great. It is hot as hell in Dallas, Texas. Atlanta, I feel the pain that you're going through. Just like traveling, we don't have any travels going on right now. I'm just really just being home and just working on my craft, so namaste. Life is good right now. God is great. I can't complain. Life is good. Just my photography business is doing great. So I'm really grateful. DragCon was insane. It's like the Met Gala of drag. So like all these costumes, I can put some pictures in the video when we get done, but it's like the
Who
Met
is
Gala.
that? Hold on, Tamar.
Yeah.
I was about to say, somebody calling somebody.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Tamar. Continue.
No. So yeah, like life is good. I'm just grateful right now. I've been praying to God about just really using my hands to be creative. And God has been really moving me in a creative way. So yeah, I'm ready for y'all to come to fucking Dallas. Like, oh my God, we need to
I'll be there in October.
I know.
And you know what I'm going through.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully we can all get down there soon. But without further ado, let's get into this docket, you guys. We have a lot to get to. I think the biggest news of all the news that broke this summer, I think we were a little worried at first. But we can never count our eggs before they hatch. But President Biden has stepped down from being the Democratic nominee, and Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are now our nominee for the Democratic Party. What do we think about that? Let's talk. Let's deep dive into that. I know there's people have a lot to say about it. Some people are happy. Some people are not. What do we think? Let's just have an open forum. What do we think about this?
Well, in Florida, at least, Biden, hands down. Florida's already a Republican state, so he was already going to do a horrible job. But when I tell you, when Kamala was put on the ticket, the energy, I mean, Florida by no means is going to be blue by any times, but the red is bleeding. I have not seen people be so excited about a Democratic nominee since Bill Clinton. I mean, people that I know that refuse to vote, that are like, you know what, I don't make a difference, they're actually going to go to the polls. Kamala has put a fire and an energy in people that I have not ever seen in any presidential election. I am so proud and just excited to see what's going to come about, because she's the real deal. And I think that people that Biden had no way of touching or no way of reaching are actually being reached and feel like they're being seen now. So I'm all for it in this side of town.
Michael, what do you think about this?
I'll take the opposite side of that bet, please.
Okay.
The folks that I know are not at all excited about Kamala, and it's mostly because of how this process unfolded. If we think back to when this was supposed to have occurred, right, when we were supposed to pick our nominees, we're supposed to have things like debates, right, where they discuss their policies and we choose. But instead we went with Biden. And then when Biden stepped down, it seems like it was just handed to Kamala. It doesn't seem like the process was really that followed. So I'm trying to get on board. I'm a lifelong Democrat. She really hasn't articulated her policy positions that well. And I have to say, again, the folks I talk to, there is a distinct lack of energy and excitement about her on the ticket.
Wow.
Can I say this before I throw it to someone else? I do feel that the Democratic Party was extremely disrespectful to our president and commander-in-chief. The way he was bullied, the way it was kind of like a mob mentality, the cancel culture kind of thing. I just didn't like it. It seemed disrespectful. President Biden is one of the most decorated politicians in our history. And to be treated that way in his last term and in his later years, I think was really shameful. But on the flip side of that, I will eat crow. I was the main one saying I don't ever think this America would get behind a black woman at that for the Democratic nominee, but we'll see. Melanie, do you have anything to say about this?
Um, I sit on the fence,
Mhm.
as in wanting to see what happens, just because you're all behind it.
Mhm.
People talk a lot and people don't follow through. So I sit on the fence to see what will happen. I sit here as the spectator. Now, as far as strategic movement, for Kamala Harris, this is a promotion of a lifetime. Let's be honest. Like, she's practically been given, hey, I'm stepping down, so here it is.
Mhm.
There wasn't, like, to
She
Michael's
didn't
point,
earn it.
exactly, there wasn't any like debate or anything that got her there.
Mhm.
However, on the same token, I felt like she's very strategic, and I still feel like she's very strategic, even in her move to pick Rolf has her VP, or the I guess second in command for her. That's a strategic move. She picked someone who was like Biden in a sense. He
Mhm.
is a great give back to the community. He went to war, he then came home, he worked as a public servant, then worked his way into office. So for her, I can see her strategic move. And honestly, like I said, I'm sitting on the fence and I'm just ready to see how it all plays out. But based on who she picked to just back her, I can see where that might work in her favor.
Before we down her too much, and this is America, you can vote for whoever you want to vote for. You can dislike who you want to dislike. But I have some conservative beliefs. I'm a Democratic, but I have a lot of conservative beliefs as well. But I think being a conservative is a lot different than being a Trump supporter. And I think anything is better than Trump at this point. I would vote for Kermit the Frog if I had to. I'm serious. I would. I don't think we can endure another 4 years of that circus. I don't see us. I don't see us doing it. Jack,
Yeah.
what do you think?
But
I was waiting for a little bit of what Melanie ended up interjecting, which is that when we're talking about, I agree with a little bit of everything that everyone said. I can go with what you said, Ashley, as well as Michael, which is that what I feel we witnessed with Biden was an internal coup. and that makes me uncomfortable as a believer in democracy. So it's not to say that I don't agree that it was time to move on. It's just that I don't agree that that was how it should have been done. But something had to be done, and it was. And so, okay, we're moving forward. But back to again my main point, which was what Melanie brought up, which was her VP pick. I think that here we go, me agreeing with Marcus. Is there some agreement with Marcus that there is excitement now? Absolutely. What I hesitate to do though is give all the credit to Kamala. I think what created this buzz was the addition of Waltz,
Yeah.
right? Or as black people say, Waltz. Because what is that anyway without that T? So the addition of Waltz, I think, it's what really kind of catapulted this
Mhm.
this running into the stratosphere, right? And I don't actually think it's just because he's white, though. Let me tell you, it helps that he is white and male. But he's the right kind of white male that we need right now.
Yeah.
He's the literal antithesis of Trump. All right, like. I mean, the first thing you heard about him was that he gave school lunches to kids, and he's an advocate for women. And what we are sorely missing in the public eye right now is advocates for women. You would think that women weren't half or more of the population in the United States of America. And so getting this very, open, supportive white male onto the ticket, I think kind of just, if you don't
So
like
smart.
her, you do like him.
Right.
And what we have seen through her is that VP picks matter, don't they? Because a VP pick, can end up being a thing, right? And so it
Absolutely.
definitely interjected a new set of energy into the campaign that was needed. What I wish we were hearing more of is policy, but I think that right now they have the benefit of being able to run without talking about much because Trump has said so many terrifying things that I think we are in a space where people are like you, Ashley. They're like, I'll vote for Kermit. Like
Mhm.
Trump is scary. And I think that if I was to say anything that ultimately ruined Trump's chances, it would be the fear surrounding the Supreme Court because it's real. We have watched what his court has done right now, And we really have to be honest with ourselves about what it means if he has 4 more years and the opportunity to stack that court even further. And that's a little terrifying. And I think that we now have a lot of things that people can focus on. And another thing that this ticket does is exposes the fracture in the Republican Party that we don't often talk about, because the Republicans are very good at sticking together, but their party is actually fractured. All right. There are Trump supporters and they are Republicans.
Mhm.
And those two things are not the same thing.
At all.
But they are unified under Trump. However, this ticket presents an opportunity for people who actually aren't supporters of Trump to say, hey, you know, and so this is an interesting race now. But do I think it would have remained as interesting without her VP pick? I do not. And I think had she chosen someone else like Shapiro, it would not have.
Can I
So,
say
I'm
another
watching.
thing? I'm going to eat crow again because I thought she was doomed without Shapiro. I thought he was young. I thought he was good looking. He's suave. He's very quick with it. He has a smart tongue, smart mouth. I thought he was going to be the one to identify with a younger demographic. But I think, like you said, Tim seems to be the one to go with. And with that with you saying the Supreme Court, I'm glad you brought that up, because I don't think a lot of young voters, and I'm just going to be transparent. I told the cast and the panel what I wanted to do this season with the show was kind of educate, especially during the election season. I don't think a lot of young voters think of what a vote means. I think, and at 18, I didn't know what a vote meant either. I was just saying, oh, we're going to go pick the president. But the president is the least of our worries. Like you said, the Supreme Court is what we really have to worry about. The Supreme Court right now, is it 6-4? Is it 6-4? Republicans 6, Democrats 4?
It's 6-3.
6-3?
It's 6-3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with that being said, they've already come after women's rights. We know gay rights are next. We know after that,
They gutted voting.
black right vote. It's all going. So elections have consequences, and the consequence for the last election was him stacking that Supreme Court. And I think that Supreme Court should have term limits. Why do you need to be a judge for 50, 60 years? And, you know, if precedent has term limits, why don't judges? You know, that's my thing.
Yeah.
And so that's the biggest thing for me is that Supreme Court. I could care less who the president is, but yeah, that's what I have to say. Tasha, do you have anything to say? Tasha or Brandy or anyone else?
I would just say that
Yeah, go ahead.
I am hoping that she is able to win this election. Excited to see what she can do for this country if she's able to make, you know, improvements for us, the people. And yeah, I don't want Trump to win. I don't want Trump to win. That's about it.
Yeah.
Tasha?
I will say that she has brought a fresh energy. I think that there were a lot of even Democrats that were trying to get Biden to step down, and they got what they wanted. I was a little sad for him on that though, because
Yeah.
it's not like anybody endorsed anybody else or prepared anybody else to be his predecessor. So honestly, I think Kamala would have been the natural person right behind him anyway. I am excited to see about Walz. I was not very familiar with him before, but I definitely, he has me intrigued. So, I mean, like you, I would have voted for Elmo before Trump would have got my vote. So, I mean, it is what it is. But I'm actually excited to see what could happen with Kamala. It will be amazing to have a woman and a woman of color
Exactly.
nonetheless be president.
With all that said, I think that we have a long time to go until this election. We have a lot could happen in 2 or 3 months. You know, we're having the DNC here in Chicago next week. And that's going to be a shit show because they're talking about they're going to be dropping busloads of migrants off and protests and all that.
You know they're going to do it.
So a lot can happen in the next couple of months. But in that next couple of months, I want everyone who watches our show, if you don't watch our show, if you know someone, please go check out vote.org. Everything you need to vote. It tells you how many days you have to register, where you should be registered. I know, like, not in Michigan, but or Illinois, because we're kind of a liberal state here. But I know in Georgia has very, very strict election laws, and I know they're going to try everything they can down there. So you really need to know your rights. Please go to vote.org. If you have young cousins that are voters for the first time, or nieces and nephews, please, they stay on their phones all day anyway. They might as well be going on their phone to learn something. So please go to vote.org. Like I said, it has everything. It outlines everything for first-time voters or second-time or third-time, whatever. Any questions you need to know are there. So please use that. All right, moving on to our next docket. So the Olympics were the last couple weeks, and I didn't watch too much. I was watching the fashion, of course, and what was going on with that. But during the opening ceremonies, there was a really strange, I don't even know what to call it, but there was a picture, there was a tableau of the Last Supper depicted, but instead of using cisgender men, they were drag queens, and I'm not really sure what the point of it was. I still haven't, no one's explained it to me. I know the Christian community was outraged, and I'm not outraged because I'm a Christian. I'm not really outraged at all. I just don't understand it. It seems like in these days and times, sometimes drag is just used. There's no purpose for it. They just want to let's throw some drag queens in the mix. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with drag. I choreograph for drag queens. I love going to see drag shows, but it seems just to be in every space these days. And I don't really understand why. So let's kind of dive into this. Did anybody else hear about this and what happened or why it happened, or was any of your friends talking about it? Go ahead.
Well, I heard that they were.
I definitely heard a little bit. I saw a little bit, not much, not during the opening. I saw clips, just from scrolling on my phone and everything. And then that's how I kind of got into reading about the controversy and everything. I will not lie. My first thought from the clips that I saw is I noticed all the Greek elements. I love Greek mythology and stuff like that. Like, I'm such a nerd, and I'm just really into stuff like that. And I've always read it or found it fascinating. And I mean, I like Greek mythology and sci-fi. Like, that's a thing I'm into. So I'm watching, I'm like, oh, it looks Greek, and I kept it moving. It wasn't until later when it blows up and then I began to see all the other things that I was like, okay, I see what they're saying. But again, the nerd in me immediately caught most of the Greek. I think the only time I really kind of even tapped into what they were saying about it being biblical is like this shot here, you know, when they're all sitting there. I'm guessing, okay, I guess you can see that. But the Greek stuff stood out to me more. And so at first I did not agree. But I have to say that I really look forward to Michael sharing his thoughts, because I think Michael said something so profound when we were talking about it. And he can definitely say it better than I can. But it was something he said where, you know, you allude to things, right? And you know what you're doing. And I do have to agree that they knew that the biblical crowd would be upset, you know? And
but why do that? Why?
It's because it's the opening ceremony of the new Olympics. Remember, the producers are trying to get ratings. They're trying to cause a stir. They're trying to get the front page. So of course you're gonna put a fat ass white lady in the middle depicting Jesus. Of course it's gonna cause a spur, especially in France, where they already hate gay people, they already hate black people, they already hate anything that's not like stuck up and like a stick up their ass. So they knew exactly what they were doing, like Michael said. And
but the Greek stuff was present. It's not our fault.
But you know what, Shaq? Unfortunately, everyone's not as smart and cultured as you. So normal people that are watching it, that are normal Olympic watchers, are like, yeehaw from South Dakota. They're not going to be like, oh, that's the Greek mythology. They're going to be like, that's a man that looks like a drag queen. So you know what I mean? They knew exactly what they were doing, and it's fucked up. Like, the Olympics are the one time where like everyone finally gets together and like we actually are united
get
and we're
along.
cheering for each other. You know what I mean? It's like the one time where everyone's like, yo, we're together. And the fact that they tried to do that, it's just fucked up. And I didn't appreciate it at all.
Yeah, I actually turned the TV off. Like that scene made me not want to watch the Olympics as a whole because I feel like there's just this fucking agenda that they keep trying to push with gay, trans, drag. You know, you have to pick and choose spaces. And I feel like, yeah, like these queens, these drag queens are getting a check. It is also putting a stamp on our back. So it's a good idea, but I don't think that was the best place for that idea. Like as someone who loves drag, that has a drag queen as a husband, like he is the same way. Like he's like, they're just certain spaces for me to perform. Like I'm not performing Body Beautiful in front of a group of kids. Like,
Well,
you know,
Tamar,
there's just
as your
spaces.
husband is a drag like star. Do you think, like, as his opinion, do you think that put drag back in the international scene? Like it took us back as opposed to putting us forward and more accepted?
I don't think drag is accepted, period. RuPaul has put drag on the map. I just think it is making it a constant conversation of like people just attacking each other. Like I don't feel like it's ever going to get to a place where people can like just do drag. Like all the shit that we are going through as drag queens are going through right now, all the bills that they're trying to pass, I just don't feel like that was a good thing to do.
Helping
right. And so it's just like I had this conversation with him, and he was just like, I don't approve of that, because he comes from an era where like when you as a drag queen perform, you have to wear 3 articles of men's clothing in the 70s or you went to jail. Now it's just like this mockery of the gay community, and there's just such an agenda. You see so many artists trying to push this agenda on so many people. That made me have a bad taste in my mouth, and I just turned the Olympics off as a whole, because I personally didn't appreciate it as a gay person, as a gay black man.
There you go. Well, all right.
You're on mute, Ashleigh.
Right. Ashleigh, you're on mute.
There we go. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I think 2 things can be true at once. You don't have to be, I guess, a Christian to be because I had someone ask me, well, you're gay, so why are you offended? And I'm like, well, I don't think that, and I don't care who wants to take this back and run with it. We've already been canceled once, so let's go. I don't think drag needs to be in every single space at all.
Yes, thank you.
Just like cowboys don't have to be in every single space at one time. There's a time and a place for everything. And like I said, I do think it brought us back a few pegs, because they're already trying to pass this legislation on drag and trans and movements and all that. And why poke the bear is basically what I'm saying. Brandy, do you have anything to say about this?
I feel like it was just a silly move. What was the point? Like you said, it was unnecessary.
Melanie, what about you?
My opinion has always stayed the same. Gay doesn't have to be in everything. There is really a time and place for everything, and there is no bashing to the LGBTQIA plus community. As a proud member, I know, but look, if you don't get it right, you don't get it right, and then y'all tell me anything on TikTok, I'm clapping back. So but now that we're there, it's one of those things where you don't have to have everything be gay all the time. Like, why we just cannot enjoy good, wholesome, like the Olympics opening ceremony has always been like the thing that we look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like we look forward to the red carpet at the Grammys. We look forward to the VMAs, the pre-shows. The same way how we look forward to that, we did. And there was no problem with Snoop Dogg coming in on the front of the boat. The problem was that you took something so monumental, and you made a mockery of it. And not to say that you made a mockery because they were drag queens in it. There was nothing wrong with the drag queens, but it was the symbolism, even though it may have some Greek undertones. I mean, when Beyonce performed that thing at
the Grammys
award show where she did with exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, "Oh, that's a great performance," and then they were the people in the back. "Oh, it's a ritual. She's casting the spell." So let us like you got to pick a time and a place for everything, and that just wasn't the time nor the place.
I mean, can television turn off gays sometime? I mean, I'm gay of gay. I am a queer. I am a Nelly. I am a blouse, honey. But sometimes,
but you don't have to throw it in our face every single time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then when you throw it in our face, you're throwing the stereotypical gay. It's you know what I mean? And that's the part that's really disarming. It's like, does every gay have to be the drag queen, femme queen? Like, come on, we're not in 1991 anymore. There's different type of gays. Society's still trying to portray us as that.
What would have been epic is if they put up Greek mythology men that would represent that time and era that was kind of feminine, right? But it gave them that androgynous look. But they they said, "Hey, you drag queen, come on, for every country, y'all. RuPaul, you been on RuPaul? Come on, baby. You a celebrity. Come on."
It was definitely a ratings grab. It was a ratings grab and it was a stunt. There was no other reason besides trying to stir up trouble.
Poor taste.
Okay, so let's jump to the comment section. Kate says, "Hey, Kate, one of our co-hosts. She says, I don't know if she's being sarcastic or was she serious. She's like, no, y'all, we need representation. I think we have representation.
Yeah, there's a time and a place.
Right. Yeah.
There's a time and a place. That wasn't the time nor the place. We know drag queens. We celebrate them. We're thankful. But don't depict them as like a Jesus fucking portrait that everyone will recognize. You know what I mean? Not at the opening of the Olympics where everyone in the world is watching. You got to pick and choose.
With all that being said, I think that had there been a drag queen Olympian, it might have been interesting. But we didn't have that. So
but at least it would have had a reason. At least there would have been a reason to have a representation,
no reason about it. I originally saw Greek, and then I looked again, and then I was like, okay, that wasn't necessary.
Yeah, and let me just make this disclaimer, and I'm not making an excuse or sugarcoating what any of us have said because I own this and my name's on everything, and so you can come after me if you want, whatever, I don't care. But at the same time, we have gay people on this panel, we have non-binary, we have queer, we have bi. We all are part of the community in some way, and we don't hate our community. I think a lot of us are older souls or a part of another generation, and it seems like the new generation want to push their ideals down your throat at all times and accept it, or they want to, if you don't accept it, then F you, basically. And I don't think that's right. I don't think that's cool. We all have to live on this planet together, and I think there's a time and place for everything. And with that said, while we're talking about drag, vice presidential candidate Republican J.D. Vance pictures have resurfaced of his time at Yale Law School, and with him in drag. Now, I think this comes at a very interesting time, especially seeing the legislation that the Republicans are trying to pass. To my co-host, do you think this will hurt or hinder his reasonings at all? What do we think of this?
Because the Republicans can murder someone and they'll still support each other. They don't give a fuck. Internally, I'm sure they'll talk shit and they'll bash him, but this isn't going to hurt him publicly or like in the race, because look what Trump does. And this isn't going to hurt him at all. It just goes to prove that they're the biggest hypocrites. How can you want drag queens to be banned and not read to people, but you're dressing up with drag queens any chance you get? So, but I don't think it's going to hurt.
Devil's advocate. Yeah, exactly. Devil's advocate. Not advocating for the devil, but I got questions, right?
Yeah.
Can we really say that that's him in drag? Because that is a wig from like Family Dollar
Party City
or Party City or something.
It looked like Halloween to me.
Like,
okay,
but Melanie, devil's advocate back.
Drag.
So I guess that poses the question: what does a drag queen make then? What What is
Exactly. Remember, he's not from Drag Race. He's not going to be done to the nines. He's a white boy in college. Drag to him is going to be putting the little skirt and like the fucking wig. He's not going to get painted to the nines and go to the club and perform. That is his version of drag.
Even if you're a baby drag, you still have the basic sense of pulling that wig
But babe,
up
she's
off
got
your
the
forehead,
eyeliner.
baby. Come on.
But baby,
Like,
she's got the eyeliner. She's got the Party City wig. Every drag queen's got to start somewhere.
Can I ask Michael, what do you think of this?
Oh, I was waiting. Listen, I'm so weary of identity politics, right? I could give a shit less who dressed in drag when they were in law school, right? And I think it's goofy that instead of talking about the differences between the issues that our candidates have, we're trying to set up these gotcha moments by digging into their past and finding a bad photo and making it seem like this makes him some type of a hypocrite. He was already well hypocritical on his many positions. Who cares about this drag stuff? It's a distraction.
Yeah.
Brandon,
I feel like, I'm sorry.
I just agree with Michael. I feel like it's just unnecessary. I feel like, and I also agree with Melanie. It doesn't necessarily mean that it was like drag. Like you said, it looked like Halloween. It looked like a costume. It doesn't look like he was drag for real. What I would consider drag, because a lot of drag queens I've seen are fabulous, and that was far from fabulous. But I also agree with what Marcus said. Maybe in his time and era, that was his version, but like Michael said, what really finished it, it really don't matter at the end of the day. It's trash at the end of the day. And the things that he's already let us know what he's on is trash at the end of the day. So
yeah,
he got on the costume or not.
Tamar, what were you gonna say?
Completely.
I feel like they found their poster child. So like they have someone with a lot of illusions, which JD Vance is like, they got so much about him that they're saying so we can steer away from Trump. Like all the stuff that they're saying about Trump so we can steer away from him. I agree with Michael. Like it's an illusion, it's a distraction. It's like distracting us from the real issues.
Okay.
So
I don't agree with Michael.
I agree with Michael.
It's just an illusion. Everything's a freaking illusion. And, you know, I also, going back to politics, I just wish people would just fucking tell us what their core values are. So why I need to vote for you. I don't want Trump to win. But with JD Vance, he has this poster child now that we don't have to focus on Trump. Like we are focusing on the damn couch and the damn orange around his lips and the wig and girl, that he
Ashley couldn't wait
to party
so
and they
ugly.
said, if you lose this bet, you don't drink all your beers, you got to put this wig on and go outside. That's what it looks like.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah,
Listen, JD Vance has given us plenty reason to dislike him or to dislike what he's on, and plenty of reasons to call him a hypocrite and an opportunist. This just isn't interesting to me because who hasn't been drunk in college and took a stupid picture? Well, good for you. I was a hot mess in college. Fortunately, I'm 40.
So was I.
And social media wasn't
They
popping.
didn't
like
have
that.
social media back then. Yes.
Yeah,
Thank God.
you know, it wasn't popping like that. So a lot of my foolishness wasn't caught. I am not interested in talking about what he was doing in college. I'm very focused on what he's been doing in the last 10 years and what he's doing now. And that there is enough crap there for us to mine.
Yeah.
I agree with this gotcha stuff. And I also don't like the gotcha moments because the problem is gotcha moments work both ways.
Oh yeah.
And so
and anyone that's been to Yale knows that they're all drag queens.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Party City wig,
this is nuts.
Caitlyn Jenner in the news again.
Hate him.
She released a tweet the other day that said, hold on, wrong one. It said, I don't know where the tweet went. It basically said, I don't want to paraphrase. I want to get it for sure what it said. Hold that thought.
Caitlyn Jenner.
I hate that man. If self-hate was a person, that's Caitlyn Jenner.
Sir,
I hate that man. Hold on, everyone. Marcus, we can't misgender. We just can't do that. I know how you feel, but we can't.
I hate that woman. I hate that woman. And I'm sorry, please don't cancel us. We want to go to awards. Thank you.
So Caitlyn Jenner released a tweet that said, "Hey, I thought she always identified as a black woman, question mark. This woman is such a phony, not to mention beyond way too far left for this country." And then Claudia Jordan enters the chat and says, in quotes, "sit this one out," in quotes. So what do we think about that? I think it was a really cute play on words. You need to sit this one out.
Claudia said it best.
Yeah, and I'm not a fan of Claudia at all. You guys know that. But Caitlyn, what do we think?
Anything for press. Ever since the Kardashians dumped her, she'll do any interview, she'll do anything to get some money, because guess what? It's expensive to live in Calabasas. And she does not have Kardashian money, and she's not an Olympian anymore.
Well, you know,
She'll do any interview, she'll do anything for money.
Go ahead.
Caitlyn is also a conservative woman that was once a conservative white woman that was once a conservative white male. And so Caitlyn saying ridiculous, outrageous stuff tracks for the demographic in which Caitlyn has always claimed to sit in. I think what's more interesting is Claudia saying to sit it out, because it brings it harkens to this overall issue that we're seeing with this election, where people are fighting back or questioning Kamala's blackness. And it's annoying that especially these white people now want to attack her and say, well, you're not black, or you were Indian, or you this. At the end of the day, whatever you feel about her, she is a biracial woman of mixed race, and none of those races are white. And it is very concerning and weird that any white person wants to talk to her about what she is or isn't. If you don't want to call her back, you still have to call her biracial, and you have to acknowledge that she is half. And so it's annoying. It's really, really annoying that we're talking about it. It's also interesting to hear them talk about it, because our first black president was actually biracial as well, right? And so, but he still gets called the black president. And so I think it's interesting when we get to a woman, we're having these conversations again, but they're so much fiercer than they were. And so why? What is that about? Is she any more biracial than Barack Obama?
So my husband is a hair stylist, and he has like these, very conservative clients. And what I think it is that the picture of what they see, it is a black woman that is in charge. And a lot of America, I don't know if America is like open to that yet, which they don't have a choice because she's running. But it didn't bother them as much with Obama, but now you have a black woman running for president that could potentially win and be the face of this country. That has a lot of fear in people right now.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what color. She's black. Like, she is biracial. Her dad's Jamaican. Her mom is Indian. Whatever the case may be, to other people, they consider her a black woman. But now she is the running face for this country, for the Democratic Party. We haven't had this before. So a lot of people are in fear, and they're going to say so much, just attack her, because they're so afraid that she has the potential to actually win the election.
I get that, because they didn't even want a white woman. So
right.
So imagine a black woman. They're really fucking pissed.
I said it before, and I'll say it again. If you can identify as a dog or a cat, or put a dog mask on with a leash and say you're a dog, then she can identify as a black. She can identify whatever she wants to identify as. Okay. Going on. Next subject. Carisha got 1 million views in 24 hours in her first sit-down interview with her best friend Saucy Santana about her breakup and the tumultuous last couple of months with her partner Diddy. I watched the interview by mistake. I didn't want to watch it. I'm not a huge fan of her. I love JT. She rubs me the wrong way a little bit. I thought the interview, I think she said everything she needed to say. She cried at all the right times. So I think it was successful. What do we think? Melanie, did you watch the interview at all?
I did watch the interview. You're right. she did cry at all the right times and left the tears on the face for a good little minute too while the hair was being put together. And the expensive, and so we're not gonna really sit up here and act like JT told us anything. She talked around everything. She really just was kikiing with Santana in everybody's face. And there was nothing, like, there was really nothing said of the interview. There was no essence. It was literally just giving Santana a platform. And just now you're going to see Santana with a new podcast or something. And that was her way of promoting Carisha Please too. So I say to that, Carisha Please, next. Because it really is. There was nothing said. So moving on. What is the next one?
What did you think of it?
Can I speak as a fan of Carisha? I think she's hilarious. I've always thought she was hilarious, and I'm a huge City Girl fan. JT is my favorite, no doubt. But with that being said, you know, I'm a fan, and I remember those days when she was holding JT down, and I hate to see what's happened with them, and you know, it just hurts my heart as a fan. And I like her, and I still like her after the interview, and so I want to say from that perspective that I do think there's an NDA, right? But another thing, as someone who had a more favorable view of this interview, what stood out to me the most was how hurt she was about Diddy, which leads me to believe that she's probably still with him, right? Or if she's not with him, she's heartbroken that she's not. So, you know, she was very clear. He didn't do that to me. He didn't treat me that way. Whether that's true or not, I think that this situation blowing up ripped apart her relationship. You know what that reminds me of? Another couple whose relationship was ripped apart by the media, not necessarily by them, which was Chris Brown and Rihanna. And remember how there was so much, even after they broke up, there was so much controversy that continued after, and they were still seen with each other. There was issues with all that, right? Because it's almost as if the media blitz tore them apart and not their actual problems. And I'm leaving out the domestic violence part because that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how when people are in the public eye and something like this blows up, business takes over relationships. So
we can't have a second chance.
Is or is it over? We know for sure that what really ripped it up probably isn't them. It's what's happened. And so watching her talk, I was very cognizant of the fact that she was definitely experiencing that more so than anything else. And so by the time it goes off, I'm like, man, we don't have that story. We don't know what that is. And if somehow this turned in Diddy's favor, I think they would be right back on TV together. But we know that it's probably not going to happen. And so she's in an interesting position. I don't know how it is, but what I hope is that she is okay on the other side of it, because we have all been in a relationship that we shouldn't have been in. And well, you know, choose wisely. And that's life. So but I wasn't mad at her. I like her, and I enjoy Santana. I like watching them talk together.
I'm sorry, Tasha. What did you think of the interview?
So I think Carisha gave everything that she was supposed to give, and I think she said everything without saying anything. I honestly do believe that her and Diddy are still in communications with each other. I don't even think it's so much of an NDA, because I think that he has enough money to keep her quiet and to keep her happy. I don't think that she experienced the same type of relationship that Cassie did or Kim Porter did, because she's famous. And same thing with J-Lo. She's too much in the public eye for her to be abused and for that to actually stay under the radar. So I 100% believe that she did not have the same relationship that Kim or Cassie did. I honestly do think that they are still involved with each other, and she isn't supposed to say anything. She's supposed to keep quiet. She's supposed to pretty much keep her sugar daddy happy. So with that, I think she said everything without saying anything at all.
Michael, did you watch the interview?
I did, yes.
What do you think?
You know, I'm kind of looking at it from an esoteric point of view, right? The nonverbals and everything else. And my first thought was one of compassion. It looked like someone who has a very green team around her that didn't really get her kind of tied all the way up to do what she needed to do. Listening to the whole thing, at the very beginning, she seemed genuinely emotional. And you can kind of see it, that she dialed it all the way back and then described herself as an incredibly transactional person who pretty much uses people, you know, all things for a season. And that to me is the sign of having a bad team. You know, your message could have been good, even down to the clothes she was wearing.
Yep.
You know, you don't go in with that look of battle armor if you're not going to war, right? You want to have something that evokes sympathy, softer colors. So like all of those things that a trained professional will guide you through on important media, I don't know that she got it here. And you know, I felt a little bad for her because of it.
I think, and then I'm going to jump to Brandy and anybody else after this. Nothing. Okay. She should have just went the Beyonce route and said nothing. She doesn't owe anybody anything.
But she can't. Her fans and her demographic is not the Beyonce demographic. She's on Instagram. She communicates with them. There's no way that she could have gone with this without saying something. She could not have gone the Beyonce route. She had to say something. She had to say something.
I don't
100%.
I feel like she should have just been quiet.
Yeah,
Like,
she could have released.
okay,
She could have released the album, and
it would have flopped.
And since
Like it's going
subliminals,
to.
I don't.
people
This
could
is
have maybe thought the album was about.
But
She's
please,
not at that star status where she could
This
just
is the
go
thing. This is
and like say
coming from
no.
a
She had
marketing.
to say
Coming
something.
from a marketing standpoint, you keep people curious. You keep people guessing.
Exactly.
Like, releasing music, releasing your clothing line would have been.
But when your music is already flopping and you don't have anything new and your record label's but wait a minute, when your record label's telling you that you have no growth and you're not releasing music because you haven't grown in any way, shape as an artist, and your only way of making money is communicating with the fans via Instagram and Twitter, she had to release a statement. There's no way. Anytime she posted anything before this, all she was doing was getting bashed and saying, oh, what do you feel about this? She was never going to live this down without saying something. So she had to say something.
I agree.
She's not at the Beyonce level.
This is
She had
the
to say
world.
something to be able to
Everybody's
begin
talking
to
at
move
once.
past
I
it.
can't hear anything anyone's saying. What'd you
I'm
say,
sorry,
Tasha?
Natasha. What was you saying?
I said she had to say something in order for her to actually progress past it. There was no possible way that she was going to be able to not say anything because, as far as we know, we have not seen the end of this Diddy situation. So she had to say something in order for her to be able to move on to the next project.
But if she's gonna say something, she should have said something. Carisha Please didn't say anything.
Exactly.
No, she
still got 1 million views in 24 hours.
Exactly, because
people wanted her to say something.
People was waiting for her to say something. And one thing that killed me, she kept saying, I'm gonna tell my truth. Girl, you didn't tell no truth. You didn't say nothing.
Absolutely.
Like,
And
you
that
said,
is it.
you said he showed you how to be a woman and da-da-da. He showed everybody else how to be a woman. Let's like
would you piss off your billionaire baby sugar daddy?
Let me tell you.
If he was about to be on trial for attempted murder, yes, I would.
That still don't matter. That still doesn't mean that the money can't be transferred to her account.
I mean,
Diddy being broke is not our type of broke.
Yes, different kind of broke.
That's a different kind of broke. Diddy can still do them bank transfers. Let's just be honest.
True,
Right.
true. But we're gonna really act like she ain't putting on for being the beard for Saucy Santana to get over the Diddy, allegedly.
Of course.
We're gonna roll past that one.
I'm not going to touch that. I'm not touching that one.
We just
Here comes
Did you
another
put our
lawsuit.
disclaimer up, Ashley?
Here comes another lawsuit. Thanks,
Let's
Melanie.
move on. Let's move on to our next story. So our queen is in the news as well.
My baby.
It's Brittany,
Baby,
bitch.
don't need you. Don't
So
start.
let's talk about
Yes, our queen.
let's talk about what's going on. She has just signed a deal with Universal Pictures to bring her book, her best-selling Britney Spears, The Woman in Me, to life as a biopic. I forged the story because it's not like breaking news. We all knew there was going to be one eventually one day. My opinion, and this is my opinion, I'd like to see I just don't think a biopic is I don't think it should be her next step. I don't think her career has done this yet. And I think with any great biopic or any great story, you want to see the rise, you want to see the fall, and you want to see the rise again. I don't think the rise that she has had has been the rise she's going to eventually have. With any biopic, you see Tina Turner, What's Love Got to Do with It? You see Aretha Franklin's, which wasn't that great. We have legends who are living like Cher, Dionne Warwick, who still don't have biopics. I think sometimes a biopic, it can send a certain message that a lot of artists don't want to send until they're ready to send that. And let's be honest with Britney, she's probably mentally, she doesn't really care. But I just don't think it's time. And I think Shaq, you agree with me in the group as well. What did you say? Tell me what your thoughts are.
I hold to this mentality of, I feel like a movie about her can only explore a certain period because she's missing some of those key elements of life and of what makes good movies, which is a rise, like you said, a rise and a fall. What we've really seen is she was hot and then she collapsed. You know, she was pulled away, she disappeared. You know, then she's gotten free now, but she really hasn't done anything. You know, she's kind of embarrassing and weird on the internet, and we haven't seen her return to anything. There isn't any real return to glory. So if we get a biopic right now, it kind of just focuses on a certain time period. And I don't know that I find her that interesting. Outside of her meteoric rise as Britney Spears and everything. And I'm not saying that she wasn't big or isn't. I'm just saying we're missing those things that make these grand movies. And so you tend to get biopics two kind. They're dead now, and they either lived long and died, or they died early, and that's kind of the punchline. And or they're still around, and you're about to see how they rose and how they flew, you know, with all the ups and downs of their life and everything. Britney she's got this really unfinished thing. I think if she had started that residency, then okay, I would see how you know, that the punch would be that she's back and she's got her residency. Or if you saw her do something big right now, if she had become an advocate or something, but we haven't seen anything. She's just on Instagram in her underwear. So it's just the movie ends with her being crazy. Okay, no. The movie ends with her having mental health issues. No, the movie ends with what? So I guess we just need to focus on one small period of time and make it. And so, with that being said, who's that movie for? I guess it's for Marcus.
Well, before we jump to Marcus,
and I'm just going to go in right there.
Let me also say this: with the certain time period, like you said, because I think that was the downfall of the Aretha Franklin biopic, not the TV one with Cynthia Riva, the one with Jennifer Hudson.
It just focused on the thin time period.
That little part, and then it said. It ended in like 1979, and then it said in 2018. I'm like, what just happened? You didn't focus on like Divas Live. You didn't focus on like. It was very weird.
It's weird.
As a fan, it left me wanting more, and I loved Aretha. Like I'm still. That was the celebrity that hurt me out of all of it.
But the TV show got it right? The TV show got it right. The television
show was great.
It was the whole life,
and it was the Chronicle.
Yes.
Britney Spears is not a Chronicle. This movie is for Marcus. And who agrees with Marcus?
All right. So let's just go ahead and talk about how the book is a New York Times bestseller. How the producer and director is the producer and director of... Okay, Shaq, we let you talk, so let's go ahead and let me talk now. Thank you. So as I was saying before Shaq interrupted me, Britney Jean Spears, this book is based on a #1 Times bestseller. What is the goal and what is the celebration of the book? She's free. She's off of conservatorship. For the first time in 15 years, she's finally... speaking her voice. Now, granted, her spinning around isn't what you want to see, but guess what? She's spinning around and she's free and she's finally being herself. And a real Britney Spears fan knows she always spin around. She's just doing it on Instagram.
Is she free though? Is she really free?
You know what? Here's the point. She's making a movie that she's actually has any type of control in, where before that bitch couldn't even drink coffee without getting a fucking written consent with like a certified ticket. So instead of like focusing on her spinning and doing this, let's focus on the fact that she has a movie that's being produced by real people that believe in her. She's building a team again that's trying to see her succeed. Her success story after this movie is going to be a #1 soundtrack because it's going to be all her best hits. And guess what's going to come after a #1 soundtrack? A greatest hits tour. This isn't just her people fucking shilling and diddling. This is all a plan. The movie's going to be #1 with the #1 soundtrack at the same time, which hasn't happened since The Bodyguard. She's going to open up a new residency, and this is exactly what she needs. She's had so much negativity. She needs positivity around her, and this movie is exactly what she needs. And her revisiting her career and actually seeing that, hey, I was actually the shit, it's going to rejuvenate exactly what she needs. As a Britney Spears fan, the movie's for me, and I'll be there front row center. And you'll be there too, streaming it on your Fire Stick, so we can talk about it.
That I'm wrong. This is one instance where I would love to be wrong.
Let Brandy say.
I'm not a Britney fan. She's aight. That's what I think of her. But I was just thinking when Shaq and Ashley were talking, maybe this is the re-rise that you guys are waiting for. Like maybe this movie is what's, like he was explaining what'll happen after the movie. Maybe this movie is that for her.
Yeah, I hope so. I would love
Unless
to see
it's
it.
shot like a Tubi original and then we screwed.
And it's not Tyler Perry with the wigs, so we got a good chance.
It might as well be.
It can go either two ways.
No, the people that are producing it, it's gonna go one way.
Hold on.
Better hope she don't derail
It
it.
can go two ways. If they have the right production team on set to really write the whole script, you can get people to like anything. Like, I mean, I would like to see the movie because I want to see like the downfall of her and Justin's relationship and how he did her and made her feel. And then talking about drinking Pepsi Cola and putting her baby in the front seat, like certain things like that. But it has to be the right people writing the script, because if you just put her in there and she's expressing everything, it's not going to go anywhere. Hopefully, if the original, and it is going to open the door to something else. We always want to see the celebrity overcome and rise up again, but everybody don't have that chance. So
she will. The one thing, everyone loves Britney Spears and they all want to see her succeed. Whether you hate her or love her or think she's a crazy mess and all she does is spin around, no one really besides Shaq generally hates her. So we want to see her rise.
I don't hate Britney Spears. I just,
I
do not want to see her. I would love to be wrong. I love to come back here in a year and we have this show, and you be like, I told you.
One more thing.
And I will be
in
like, you
15 more days, Britney Spears no longer pays child support for any of her kids. Kevin Federline, who hasn't worked in 18 years, has now have to get a job because he is no longer getting $80,000 a month.
Okay. All right. Melanie, do you have anything to say? Anybody have anything else to say about this story? We'll see, I guess. I really don't feel like I'm not
just
feeling
leave Britney alone. Just let Britney
see.
live. Just let
I agree
Britney
with
live.
that.
Let her cook. Let her cook.
All right.
Let her spin around in her damn fucking living room.
Let's move on to our next story. So we're almost done, you guys. D23 was held the annual Disney upfronts they call it, is when a network, typically when a network releases everything that's going to happen, like movies and TV shows and everything that's going to happen within the next year. Disney has started this, and it's been like a big thing for the last couple of years. They have released news that they're opening a new villain park, which I'm really excited about. But at the same time, let's talk about these live action movies that Disney has been producing and will be producing. So with Little Mermaid, we saw how much racial undertones were online, on social media, in magazines with Halle, how she had to put up with all of that. And I'm sure that's hard for anyone. But now it's back again with the release of Snow White. Rachel Zegler, who is playing the title role, she is of Colombian descent and Latina descent, and fans are outraged that she has been chosen to play Snow White. The thing I keep seeing on social media is fair skin as snow or whatever. People are so outraged about that, and I don't think it's I don't think it's a bad idea, just because I come up from the theater where non-traditional casting has always been a thing. We use our imagination. This is what we do. I think she could pull off Snow White. But now it's coming to a point, people are asking, is Disney poking the bear? Because with that, they also have the upcoming adaptation of Hercules, the musical, and they have cast a Black actor to play the title role of Hercules. And so now people are saying, is Disney just being woke? Are they trying to poke the bear? Are they being woke just to be woke? Are these people actually, are they being used? So what do we think about this? I mean, I guess we have to think about back when we were kids and we were coming up. That's all we knew were white princesses, and it was even so bad as I say I'm in the theater, but when I would go to auditions, I would say, "Oh, I can't even audition for this role because I'm not white." Or, and now little girls can actually say, well, I want to audition because I saw Halle. There can be a Black Mermaid. There can be a Black Hercules. So what do we think? I want to do this in two parts. I want to talk to Natasha and Shaq because they have kids. And then I want to come from the adult standpoint about what we think of it. So Shaq, as a mom, and you have a son, what do you think? How do you explain? Well, Snow White's or Hercules is white on the movie. Why is he Black live? What?
I don't. So the neat thing about where we are now is that things are the benefit of some of this colorblind stuff is that my son has grown up seeing representation, right?
Man.
And so he does not ask questions. He does not think about it. And so I don't have to have any conversations with my son about these things. It's not exciting or, it's not crazy. He likes Black Panther, but he also likes Spider-Man. He's had Black Panther and Spider-Man. You know what I mean? He doesn't really look or see a difference. And also I have to say that as a parent of brown children, really fair-skinned Latino people just look like white people to them.
Right. Yeah.
So, with that being, but I don't have to talk about it to my children at all, which I think is cool, because they're seeing it so young. They don't have these issues. I think that these issues are very adult issues. Those of us who grew up seeing these things, I actually empathize with Disney because I think Disney has an impossible feat, right? Because if Disney sticks to the classic and keeps the classic, we'll never see anything but white faces, which is not realistic in this modern day age. And then people will go, and so then people are like, quit touching that stuff, make new stuff. Okay, so they make new stuff. And then people don't want to go see it because people miss the old stuff. They love the nostalgia because these are classic characters that we love so much. So I think Disney is kind of in an impossible situation. And so I think that they're probably doing the smart move, which is to be inclusive and to bring in the new generation, because let's keep it real. Who's going to the movies? Who's going to keep going to the movies? It won't be 70-year-olds. It's going to be kids like my kids. And
can I ask a question? And it's not that I disagree with it, but I've seen this question posed on social media, and I want to know what you guys think. So when it's time for Princess and the Frog, what if they cast Kelly Osbourne as Tiana?
Well, that's just a bad casting in general.
Well, no, I don't want to talk about weight or
saying.
anything. I want to talk about what if they cast Kelly Osbourne as Tiana.
I see what you're saying. I think the outrage would kind of be justified because if correct me if I'm wrong, but Tiana is the first Black Disney princess. That's the thing, when you start taking Black and turning it white, it's the first. It's the only. You're taking it back.
I see that question posed a lot, and to my argument, I always say, well, Ariel's she's a mermaid. She's a fictional character. She's a mermaid. They said, well, what if we did a biopic with Martin Luther King as Tom Hanks? Well, that was a real person. So that we're talking about two different things here.
Yeah. And then the next thing that irks me about it is we have to remember that even when they do that thing and they tweak like this main person, they still have white people everywhere in the movie, because typically they don't go all the way for broke. Like Ariel was Black and then her boyfriend was white. Her parents were biracial. They never really take it completely 100% the way. So I think it's just kind of hard to strip when we have one, it's weird to strip it You know,
Michael,
because
what do you-
everything is already still so white.
Yeah, Michael, what do you think about this?
Does anyone have one of those friends that's like totally grown like us and really into Disney still?
Yeah.
I'm the
Yeah,
friend.
they're
I know
annoying as
one.
fuck.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I think there is an element of Disney's business that has to cater to those folks, right? And there is a type of tradition in these stories. Yes, they're all fantasy, right? Snow White and the dwarves, it's not, in the forest out back. It's pulled out of somebody's head. So, what's the harm in changing it from white to black or back again? But I think once you tell a story a certain way, people really get emotionally attached to it. And now I don't know why Disney feels the need to make some of these changes. And I guess just from a practical standpoint, I don't understand a black Hercules, right? It wasn't Hercules a Greek god. So you're really kind of taking something that Disney was known for, fantastical stories that they kind of created, these tales. And now it does feel like there's this outside element of DEI, for lack of a better word, and not everyone's going to be okay with that. It's just not the world we live in.
Melanie, what about you?
I understand from both perspectives, but for me, I feel like they're all fictional characters. And yes, it's been told a certain way. And yes, we are attached to the certain character because that's what we grew up looking at, seeing, reading. I mean, I still have old books from Disney that still has a white Snow White. Mm-hmm. But to Shaq's point, it is the inclusivity. It is who is the next generation. It is the evolution of Disney. And yes, they still need to tell these stories because these stories are still classics. We still have the kids who are asking like, well, who's Mother Goose? Like, I literally had a child. I was like, oh, have you heard of the Mother? I was like, what? What are you talking about? So they still need to tell these stories, but they need to show it in a way where these children can see themselves in these stories because a lot more is put into this meta universe. A lot more is put into this virtual reality. And if you can't see yourself, why would you be interested? So I see the point of saying, yes, do remake it, but now they're killing it on the remakes. But I'm saying remake the classics inclusively. Like, yes, of course. And to Shaq's point, there's not all the way, because Snow White, she's of Latina descent, but Gal Gadot is also playing the queen. There is no outrage behind her playing the queen, but then she also plays Superwoman. So find the happy medium. If you're going to have an issue all the way, do you just have an issue because Snow White is not white, but she's also fictional? But Gal Gadot is also playing the queen. The queen was also white. What happened there? Where is the disconnect? So there's all of those questions to be asking. But I mean, at the same token, here's the evolution of Disney. Didn't we want to see somebody else other than a white face? Do you not want a talented actress or actor to play the role? I think that's the point that we're missing. It's not about putting Kelly Osbourne as Tiana. Is she talented enough to be Tiana? Can she hit the notes? Does she have the soulfulness? It's not about who you put in the part. It's who can actually bring the part of life. Who can make you believe? I mean, Halle Berry did it for Monsters Ball, but then again, she also did it, the other shows that she's did, Catwoman. So you can separate the two, but you also see that she was a talented actress and, is, correction. But talent is talent.
Tasha, as a mom, I already asked Shaq, you stepped away. What do you think about this? What is McKinley?
So it's very important. So it's very important. My daughter, she loves to watch coloring videos on YouTube where there's just a regular old picture and they're coloring. And so my daughter loves to color herself. And so she got this set of markers. And when she's coloring some of her characters, she was like, I have skin color. And it's a peach color. And I said, baby, there's other colors than just peach. And she was like, no, this is skin. This color is skin. So I ordered her some brown markers of, so pretty much the different skin colors. And I said, you can use browns. There's lots of browns that can be skin colors too. And so um, she uses those markers all the time and she doesn't gravitate towards the peach marker. She uses the brown marker. She did a picture of Pocahontas and that picture was the same color as me and her.
Oh,
So I print
Aw.
off pictures from Etsy of little brown kids that she can color them and make them as chocolate as possible. And so it is so important for her to see some chocolate characters on TV that look like her, that have curls like her, that have kinks like her, that have locks like her, that have all of that stuff like her.
Okay.
Because there is always going to be an image that is going to be opposite of what she is. And so, as a mom, I need to make sure that she sees the images that look like her. But it also helps when they take the work out of making it hard for me to
oh,
find
that's
things
right.
that
Right.
look like her and they actually provide it in mainstream media like Disney movies. And so she does know that Ariel in Little Mermaid is a brown girl. So she doesn't know the one that we grew up with. She only knows
Oh, wow.
brown Little Mermaid.
Really?
And so, yeah, because
Oh,
she's only
wow.
5. And
True,
so
true.
that's huge. And she does notice that, like, even the McDonald's Happy Meals toys, they were rolling with Little Mermaid. So she got a few brown Ariel play toys in her Happy Meal. And that makes a big difference. So I don't care what all the naysayers have to say. I was going to say all white folks, but I don't care what the hell they got to say because they can find all the representation everywhere. We got to look for
Everywhere.
it and we got to make sure that we actively provide it. And I'm going to always make sure that I actively provide things that look like my daughter. Even my 90-year-old, God rest her soul, she just passed away this summer, but even my 90-some-year-old neighbor bought my baby a black baby doll with curly hair for Christmas.
Oh,
And that meant the
Aw.
world. So that stuff is important, especially when you're raising little girls and they are told that their nose is too big, that their hair is too nappy, that this and that and that. I love it.
love it.
That's all I got to say.
I want to go down a rabbit hole, so we just don't have time tonight. But yeah, we don't have time. Yeah, I think this is a good conversation to have, and I'm sure we'll be talking about it more. The movie comes out in March, and the Hercules one and Hercules soon after that. So, all right, it's time for Fashion Files, my favorite time of the night. This week we had some. I did a lot of influencer street style looks, sprinkled in with some other red carpet looks. So let's get into this. Our first look, we have Jules Smith in Loire. Tamar, so what we're gonna do, we're say yay or nay. All right, Tamar, yay or nay?
Yay.
Marcus, yay or nay?
Yay.
Michael,
Yay.
Shaq,
Yeah, he looks nice.
Natasha,
Yay.
Melanie,
Nay.
Brandy.
Yay.
All right.
Hey, do you guys remember Joanne the Scammer? Doesn't he kind of look like him? You don't think so?
Mm-mm. Going on. We have Zayden the Great in Balenciaga. Tamar, yay or nay?
Yay.
Marcus, yay or nay?
I'm going to go with nay.
Michael?
Nay.
Okay. Shaq?
Kind of look like a cool Power Ranger. I kind of like it. Yeah.
Tasha?
I'll go yay.
Yay, nay.
Brandy?
Nay.
Melanie?
Yay. That is so on brand for Balenciaga. I am here for it.
It is. I love it.
Mhm.
Love everything about it.
Yeah.
All right, going on. Oh, we also have Zayden the Great in our next. I put him on here 2 times. He's in Jean Paul Gaultier, Balenciaga, and Louis Vuitton. Tamar, yay or nay?
Yay.
Okay. Marcus?
Yay.
Michael?
Nay.
Okay. Shaq?
I don't know what's happening, but I like him. Yes.
All right. Natasha?
Yay.
Melanie?
Yes. I mean, why we both got the same top though?
I love that Jean Paul Gaultier top. And soon
mean,
as I
like-
lose a little more weight, I'm gonna try to squeeze into it.
I'm telling you.
But I love that. That
It's
whole
so
line.
interesting. Look at all those colors.
I know, and look, he's just so cool with it. Like, look at
I
the way
like
he's
it.
standing.
He looked
And
like
the
the
Louis
coolest
Vuitton bag
7-year-old
is
on the
killing
playground,
it.
and I'm here for it.
Yeah, I love it. All right, moving on. We have Jackson Jimenez. He's in Maison Margiela, Loewe, and Calvin Klein. Tamar, yay or nay?
Yay.
Marcus?
Yay.
Michael?
This is awful. Nay.
Brandy?
Nay.
Shaq?
Absolutely not. Look at them shorts. Those
Natasha?
are my son's shorts.
Nay.
Melanie?
Yay. I love,
love
his
it too.
quirkiness.
That Y2K look is
It's
coming back
big.
with a vengeance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some
I love it.
basketball shorts.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it.
It's
Okay, moving on.
You
Lindsay
love the man,
Lohan.
not the outfit.
You're
Lindsay
right.
Lohan was at Disney, the D23 conference at Disney. She had an Balmain shirt and Balenciaga skirt.
Ooh.
Yay or nay?
Yay.
Okay, Marcus?
Lindsay's back. Yay.
Yay.
Michael?
It's a nay for me.
Natasha?
It's a yay nay for me.
Shaq?
Haters.
She look good. I didn't know that was Lindsay Lohan at first. She look good.
Melanie?
Yay. All the way. Look at the bag, the stance. Lindsay just knew this was her moment and she took it. Do you hear
Yes,
me?
she did.
She
Brand?
did. And the wind blew
Yay.
perfectly.
Yes, honey. No,
Yeah.
that was her assistant.
That part.
All right, moving on. We have Joe Phil and Louis Vuitton by Pharrell. This is the this is the dog walker line. So Pharrell just came out with a line for Louis Vuitton called Dog Walker. It's basically like you see the prize bow that he's wearing as a tie. There's some other nods to dog walkers. Tamar, what do you think? Yay or nay?
Yay.
All right, Marcus?
Nay.
Michael?
Exquisite. Yay.
Michael and since I don't have Brittany and Kate here tonight, Michael and Melanie, do you think that Pharrell is doing as good a job as Virgil with Louis Vuitton? Virgil Abloh?
Have we seen enough yet to make that judgment call? I will say I resonate
think
more
we
with
do.
Pharrell's style. I think it's going to sell probably a bit better. And I like that it's extremely polished. You know, it's,
Yeah, that's
he's
what I
hitting
was
it out of
going
the
to
park.
It looks very clean.
He's
Like,
mixing
very-
he's mixing the streetwear from Virgil and the polishedness of Louis Vuitton in one, and I like that.
Absolutely.
Melanie, what do you
And
think?
I like the fact that he named it the Dog Walker edition because it's so crisp. It gives like Farnsworth Bentley going to a picnic. Seriously. Like it is everything about this whole look I really like. So there isn't anything that I would take away or add. It's just like put together very nicely, and you have to give him that. Like Pharrell knows how to put his pieces together.
He does.
Well, I
Okay,
feel like
we're
an ass.
we're gonna move on from that look. We have who is this? We have Flotter and Schiaparelli. Schiaparelli is they're basically like costumes. They're not really even clothes. I would call them this strictly costumes. But I love how it looks like the angel wings are hugging her. Tamar, yay or nay?
Yay.
Marcus,
Yay, beautiful.
Michael.
I'll be honest, I saw Pigeon. It's an A for me.
All right, Melanie.
It's a nay for me. Too much.
Okay.
Not
Brandy.
Nay.
Shaq.
I don't get it.
It's art. It's not
It's
really.
sickening. That is,
You
it's
wouldn't
like
wear
fun.
this. There's nowhere you could really wear this but the runway.
I'm wearing that to work
Halloween.
Monday morning. I don't care what you
If they had it in fat, if they had it in fat, I'd take my son trick or treating in it.
Natasha, do you yay or nay?
I'm wearing that to work on Monday morning. That's a yay.
Okay. Moving on, we have. I'm so excited about this. We have Alejandro Michel with his first line from Valentino, and it's slowly but surely creeping out. But I love everything about it. Tamar, yay or nay?
Yay.
Marcus, yay or nay?
Yay.
Michael,
Hey.
Shaq,
Baby got on 13 outfits. I don't like it.
okay. Melanie, yay or nay?
It's a no for me, though.
Randy, yay or nay?
Nay.
Natasha,
The pieces separately, yay. Together, no.
do you
Yeah.
think anybody, I don't, damn, I wish Brittany and Kate were on. Do we think, Melanie, are you familiar with the Alejandro time at Gucci at all? His reign at Gucci, like 2019, 20.
No.
Michael, you kind of are. aren't
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
Do you think that Alejandro Michel is basically doing Alejandro Michel at at Valentino, instead of reinventing the brand?
Yes, honestly, I dislike it because I find it kind of reductive, right? We've seen all of this before, if I'm being honest, and it seems like he's trying very hard to put his own personal mark on it, which is a big risk to take when you're the head of a house. It can either go great for you or it can go belly up.
But as we've seen with him at Gucci, when he left Gucci, nobody's even going into Gucci boutiques anymore. Like,
No, he torched the brand. It was honestly unwearable. And I used to buy a lot of Gucci. I don't even touch it anymore. Don't even look for it.
yeah. All right, moving on. We have Jamie. Who is this? Jamie Lynn and Louis Vuitton by Pharrell. Tamar, yay or nay?
I like this. Yay.
Marcus?
First of all, I thought you were talking about Jamie Lynn Spears, and I was going to be upset.
Oh my
But
God.
this is a yay.
Michael?
Can we talk about the saturation on this black? I mean, this is
Epic.
insane to me. Yay. Definitely yay.
Yeah.
Y'all, that's fire. That's
Natasha?
fire.
Yay.
Brandy?
Minus the top, yay.
Melanie?
Oh, that's hot.
I like it. Yay.
Mhm.
Okay, moving on. We
That's
have
fire.
Brooke Bailey and Poochie. Tamar, yay or nay?
Nay.
Marcus?
Yay.
Michael?
Yay.
Melanie?
Yay.
Brandy?
We on the fence for that yay, though.
Nay.
It's Brooke, though.
Not
Because
impressed.
I like Brooke.
I don't like her.
Okay. Shaq?
I don't know who she is, but I like her shawl. Is that a shawl?
Yeah.
I like it.
Tasha?
Cool.
Yay.
It's too
It's
hot
giving
in
classic
LA for that,
60s,
though.
Okay,
70s.
couple
I
more
love
looks. Come on, you guys. All right, we have who is this? We have Blake Lively in Burberry. Tamar, yay or nay?
Yay.
Marcus?
Nay.
Michael?
Yay.
Melanie?
Nay.
Brandy?
Yay.
Tasha?
Yay, day. They just went a little overboard with the cutouts.
Shaq?
She looks good, but I think it's because I like her.
All right, moving on. We have Carisha and Roberto Cavalli. Vintage Roberto Cavalli. Tamar, yay or nay?
Yay.
Marcus?
Nay.
Shaq?
That's vintage.
Yes, it's from 2002.
Oh, that look like that came
We're
from
old.
City Trends.
Anything in a fashion house, anything over 5 years is vintage.
Okay.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Look like City Trends to me, but she look good and look at them titties. Hello.
Tasha?
It's giving Fashion Nova, but yay, I guess.
Melanie?
She's special to me.
It's a yay, but Carisha just know how. Like, she got a body, and anything she put on, it's gonna be popping. So you got to give it to her.
Okay.
The whole
Brandy.
look is together.
I give it a yay.
All right. Moving on to our last segment for the night. It's come sit on my couch. We had someone write in tonight, and this was a loaded question. I couldn't believe who it came from, and I'll just read it, and we're gonna. They want our advice, and here we go. Says quotes. Hello, co-host. I'm a 34-year-old male who recently, in general, has just had enough of everyone and everything. I often find myself putting myself last. I am very close to family and friends and would do anything and give my last for them. Lately, I've been thinking about making a change, but gradually. I think this upcoming New Year's, I'm going to start with making some drastic changes in my life that make myself happy. Have any of you been through this? What are some never again for anyone scenarios have you had to come to? Where were they helpful? Were they helpful on your journey to become happy? Did you want to be did you want to sometimes give in and say never mind? I'd love to hear some of the panel's hard decisions they've had to make in your journey of becoming your own person, end quote. So I guess I'll start. One that I not recent, for the last couple of years, I've had to kind of bite the bullet, and it was hard for me to do it. But now it's kind of, I'm in the swing of it, and there's no going back. When it comes to family, I'm not chasing family anymore. I used to be the individual who try to save a relationship by any means necessary. All in, I guess, for nostalgic purposes and to keep the family together. And no longer, I don't care who you are, with the exception of my mother. I don't care who you are. I'm not chasing you. If you don't want to be in my life, then peace. I'll see you at the next funeral. That's the way I look at it. Anyone have any, what does he call it?
He
Never
said,
again for anyone.
he said something that really stood out to me, which was, making drastic changes. Here's the thing: taking care of yourself should not require a drastic change, right? And so that leads me to believe that in some way, shape, or form, this person is feeling used and or abused in some way by the people in their life. And so there are two things that I'm always going to say first. The first one is always going to be about mental health. Take care of your mental health. And often we are in positions to be used and abused because our mental health is suffering and our self-esteem may be suffering, or we may be feeling like we need to take care of people because we haven't been taken care of. And those are that is always associated with mental health. And sometimes we are in therapy just to learn how to love ourselves. And so I would urge this person to definitely look into what they can do for their mental health. The next thing that I would encourage this person to do is say no. We have to learn how to say no to people and to other things, and we have to learn to be selfish. I think that we have such a negative connotation around the word selfish. We have turned it into a bad thing. Being selfish, you're taking from people, you're this and that. But being selfish is also part of self-care. You have to be willing to put yourself first. And this person may have to learn how to do that. And so the reason we say we're going to do drastic stuff is because we don't know how to gradually do that, and we don't know how to erect boundaries. So we do crazy big things. We cut people off. I'm done with this person. I'm never going to see this person again. It's always really big because we don't know how to erect healthy boundaries around ourselves, and we don't know how to say no to people. And I think that it would be worth it for this person to look into getting some help with their mental health, because that may help them be able to gradually put themselves first without blowing up their life. With that being said, you can totally blow up your life because everybody will be okay. So if you just want to blow things up, feel free. But I don't know that that's a good long-term solution, because it can prohibit you from making healthy relationships. It can prohibit you from making new friends in your new season. It can have you in the house by yourself, which may be okay at first because you're tired, but then you want to get back to life. So I see what they're saying, but I'm a little worried by some of the words that they use, and I hope that they will look out for themselves. But at the end of the day, I know you all heard of that thing back in the day, a year of no. I think, who was that? Shonda Rhimes, maybe, who championed it. Sounds like they might want to try that little challenge out and just say no.
Is there anyone else who have had some never again for anyone's that you've had to just say, okay, I'm going to bite the bullet, and no matter who it hurts? Anyone?
I'll just say, I don't take that tack with anything in life as I get older. And to kind of hear that as something as a person of our age that they're considering, I think is indicative maybe of emotional immaturity. And I don't mean that in a negative way. But, kind of having heard how they framed their situation, it seemed to me like they consider themselves to be a victim of a sort. And to you, my friend, I will say this. Every day of your life is your own. And if you don't like it, then do it differently, right? The world will never care about it, ever.
Well, you know what? I don't think that they seem like a victim. I feel like they seem like someone that's been hurt and they're tired and they're ready to take a second step and they just want to see other options because they just feel so attacked and they feel just like they're just suffocating. And I feel that this person needs to just release everything and just fuck everyone and just finally live your truth and do what you got to do because you're going to keep suffering and you're going to keep suffocating. You got to live your truth because you can die one day and for what? So just go out there and try to live your truth because we don't know how much time we have left.
Right. That is very true.
You have to change people, places, and things in life. Like if people, places, and things is not making you happy, you need to leave. And the saying from Miss RuPaul Drag Race, and Miss RuPaul, she said, if you can't love yourself, how the hell you gonna love somebody else? Like you have to put yourself first. But if you see that there's an issue, sometimes we as individuals have to look at the man in the mirror and like ask ourselves, like, what is going on within us that this is still happening? Outside help is an amazing thing to have, like counseling, therapy. So whoever this question is coming from, I went through a lot of extensive therapy myself, mental health. And I can tell you, when you get honest and look at yourself and value yourself, it takes time to start loving yourself again. Then you will see a drastic change, but you have to look at the man in the mirror.
I want us to make sure we answer his question and not answer it how we want to answer it. Because I think he's looking for some ideas, but has anyone ever had to say, I'm not doing this ever again? And just stick with it. Any examples?
Yes, absolutely.
Or say,
I'm
not going to let this person borrow money anymore, or I'm not.
I was about to say money.
Understanding that no is a full sentence, and you don't have to explain yourself, and that is actually the hardest thing that everyone could attest to, especially if you have a certain group of people, and understanding that saying no. And for me, I could use me as an example. Saying no to people, places, and things had been one of the biggest things for me because I am always extending myself. I am always there for you. I am that friend you could count on. I am that employee you could look to. I am that boss that you could say, okay, I'm going to go in and help you. And for me, I will fill my schedule with doing everything for everyone. And then look down and be like, oh, wait, I didn't get to put out my podcast today. Oh, I didn't get to do this fashion video or this review. And I've been pushing a lot of things up front. So understanding that no is a full sentence and you don't have to explain yourself, I would say start there. But also start with looking at the things that you're committing to and how is it helping you. You don't have to make a drastic change, but you do have to create boundaries. And that's the issue where I feel a lot of things become disconnected because you don't have boundaries. So to Tamar's point, to Shaq's point, to Marcus' point, to Michael's point, it starts from looking within. Like happiness is an inside job. Even if you spend 5 minutes, then 5 minutes you scrolling on the toilet on your phone, you spend the 5 minutes in silence, seriously, and just ask yourself the hard questions and say, is this really working for me? What do I want differently from this? And heck, if it comes to the point where you have to pretend to be someone else to get to that next level, then do it. But you cannot depend on anyone else because you're the star of your show. You are when you die, you're the only person who's going up against God and saying, hey, or whatever you believe in, let's say that. But you only have one chance. Life is linear. So start choosing you by saying, hey, I'm going to take 2 minutes and not scroll, or I'm going to set a deadline for being on social media and I'm going to give back to me. If you're filling your days with everyone else, and the more you start pouring into you, you can start pouring from your place of overflow. You can start saying, okay, well, no, I don't have time for this. Or being more specific. If you say, I'm going to hang out for 15 minutes, 25 minutes shouldn't hit you where you say you wasn't going to be. You're not even committing to yourself. So start by committing just little things to yourself. If I'm going to do this for 10 minutes, do it for 10 minutes and then reward yourself, even if it's with a candy. Like, seriously, take those little steps.
If I could add a final thing on here, I have had my life blown up quite a few times, especially in the last 10 years or so. A lot has happened to me, including how I became a parent. I did a family adoption. Blew my whole family up. I sure did. Went against my sister. Took these children, adopted my children, got them away from all the craziness that was happening. A lot of things that happened in my life, and I will tell you that one of the things that happened when I was going through that, I went against everyone in my family, everyone's advice, anything that anybody was telling me about what I was supposed to do. I knew what I needed to do, and I did it what I wanted to do, and it was the right thing to do. And I remember at the time feeling like my whole world had been blown up, all my relationships within my family had been blown up. Today, most of us that are, well, at least those of us who are still alive, have reconciled, and everything has moved on, and we've settled into a new normal. And so I think that in the beginning, when we are looking at making drastic changes and blowing things up, it feels like the world is going to fall apart. But things have a way of calming down. People have a way of falling into line, and most of the people who are for you and who do really love you eventually come around to your new normal. So I would urge this person to go ahead and do what they feel they need to do now, because it will even out in the end. It's just big at the beginning, but in time,
Right.
Thank you for that.
And everything's hard at the beginning, but the reward is going to be so worth it.
Yeah.
And piggybacking on what Shaq said, anyone that fucks with you is going to fuck with you no matter what, and they're going to be there for you at the end. So you got to do this for you, because at the end of the day, you got to look at you in the mirror. So do it, baby.
Well, with that being said, that is the end of our show tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Please like and share this. You can find it on YouTube. You can also find it. We'll be resharing it tomorrow morning, and you can also watch it on Saturday as well. So please like and share. Melanie, welcome to the club. We love having
Welcome
you.
to the family.
Hey, Greg.
You did an awesome job your first night. Please find her on social media. Melanie, where can they find your social?
You can find me on TikTok for now, at Meltropolis. Just come over and have some fun.
At Mel_Tropolis.
Mel_Tropolis. Correct.
All right.
Yeah.
With that said, thank you. Be safe. You're loved, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Peace.
God bless you guys. Thanks for watching. See you next week.
All right.